Hi guys, it's just me. We had problems to record the last session. Actually, we even had problem for the participants to follow us during the live video cast. So we decided that I am doing a single re-recording. This is possible because we just have a bullet point list from Mike Hitchwa, which we went through and talked about it, and I just want to give you the information quickly. Okay, let's start with the agenda, the news of apex.world. We have more than 1600 users now. We can switch now to the forum, so the latest 25 forum entries can be viewed on apex.world. Other things, we planning to get out the newsletter soon, hopefully. And we got help from Christina Moore, who wrote a package to synchronize users from the Oracle database to MailChimp, and Adrian adjusted this package for our needs. So I hope we get the newsletter out before Kscope. You will see. Then other things, Jeff Eberhard is still cutting the podcast. Thank you very much, Jeff, for doing that. The latest episode that is out is from Trent Schaefer and Adrian Ping. It was actually recorded in September, but we were very busy doing apex.world. And the next podcast will be also very interesting. It is another podcast with Mike Hitchwa and 10 other people from the community. It's just 1 hour long, and the title is One Question for Mike. Everybody had the opportunity at Apex Connect to ask Mike one question. Member of the month April was Vincent Morneau for the Apex front-end boost. Great tool, amazing what's possible out there. Please follow the link. There is a video recording what he did. You can actually change your CSS and JavaScript on your desktop for your running Apex application, but just for your instance, for your browser. It's like a little bit like theme roller, but you can do it all in an editor. Just watch the video, it's amazing. And since this is a re-recording, we already have the member of the month May, which is Jeff. Congratulations, Jeff, and Vincent, of course. He not only did the podcast cutting, he also managed to get a very nice intro and outro of the podcast. Very nice work. You really have to listen to it. The Apex Challenge is now old, of course, but there is a new Apex Challenge every week, and we are planning to publish the statistics on apex.world. Steven is working on it, and Martin too, so we hope we will get soon this REST interface from Steven to publish the winners and the statistics of the Apex Challenge. You always find the recorded on-air show, and this one too, in apex.world community, apex.world on air. This is our YouTube channel, and there's a separate playlist called apex.world, and there you find all the recorded sessions we did. This is the third one now. Here, this is a picture from Mike Hitchwa's keynote at Apex Connect in Berlin. Was very successful, more than 400 people, 3 days, very nice. And I would like to go through the 10 bullet points, what Mike sees for the future in Apex after 5.1. So I talked to Vlad and Shakib when they were here in Munich, and Shakib got his nice M4 at BMW, so we made a trip to the countryside all together, and we talked about this 10 bullet points list. So I talked to them if I have understood that right, and therefore I just read what they told me and what I have understood. So let's go through the 10 bullet points. The first one, what Mike is seeing in the future of Apex 5.1 is allow SQL and PL/SQL app content to be remotely sourced over REST using ORDS. So let me check my note, which says ORDS will understand, quote, SQL, it just needs to go to the database and get the result and converts the result to JSON and send it back to the client. Think of it like SQL Plus in the browser. Right now you have to define fixed REST services to achieve that. So, okay, SQL Plus in the browser sounds good to me. The second point, render region components using JSON. I think this is a logical follow-up to the first point. And my note says, now if you get results in JSON, you need to be able to render it in a browser without a round trip to the database. So any component that can take a SQL as a source should be able to render itself by a different data source coming through a REST API, returning JSON. So this opens up Apex to be a central application development platform for other databases too, or any REST service component out there. The third point, full developer change history capture and reporting, including database changes. This means nothing like build a customized version control over all components affected by Apex. This is the long asked version control over every component that is changed by Apex. Number 4, template apps specify objects, prefixes, identify truth tables, choose features. My note, an app that defines defaults and functionality you want to use in a different application, and at the end it creates an app with this basic functionality. So basically it's an app where you configure defaults for future apps so that you can, it's always often the same, like user management and master detail tables. Mike talked a lot about that in the podcast, which will be out hopefully this weekend. You should listen to that really carefully. It's a great show. So he wants to get Apex to become even more productive so that we have more ready components to use, and that the people, let's say you have a form application with 1,000 forms, right? How do you replace that? It would be great if you would have an application that defines defaults and can create pages in new pages in your Apex app and create that in a generic way. Yeah, something like that. 5. Cloud marketplace for sharing applications with ability to deploy using RESTful APIs. My note, it's an iTunes store for companies who can publish applications to the customers, and the customer can try them, install them in the Oracle Cloud Marketplace, which already exists, but not for Apex right now. So there's already this Oracle Marketplace, but there are no Apex app in there. Or the company is doing the provisioning by themselves through REST APIs. This is available on Oracle Cloud Marketplace only. But since this functionality will become part of Apex, a company can build this for its private cloud too, or on-premise on the customer place. So it's an iTunes store for Apex applications on the Oracle Cloud Marketplace, but Vlad said since the functionality is part of Apex, you can build the same thing for your customer at your customer side or just for your own company and let your customer download your apps you have built. Number 6, documented APIs to dynamically generate and alter Apex application components. So this should be official documented API to generate new pages or regions. So then I think Niels asked for this replacement of 1,000-page forms application, and this is kind of an answer that you will be able to do a small Apex application that creates other Apex pages and components generically for replacing big Apex applications. Let me check my notes. It says generate Apex pages for defined tables. Let's say you have hundreds of crude pages for lookup tables, or you have a ready application like packaged application and you want to change all the display names at once, etc. So yeah, documented API, I think we all understand what this could do for us. Bullet point 7, allow an application to change labels and to add list items and interactive report components. This is an interesting one. My note, end user can customize the application without requiring programming resources. It's much more than flex fields. So the end user can add additional fields for his application. He can create additional fields for the interactive report. I don't know. Mike is talking about that in the podcast too. So sounds interesting to me. And number 8, support for multiple versions of Oracle Apex in the same database using EBR. He thinks that it makes sense to have different Apex applications in the same database, but without to be forced to buying the multi-tenant option. So right now you can do it with 12c and PDBs, but this should be a solution without the multi-tenant option. Number 9, generate RESTful APIs, sharing application logic and authorization. My note, Apex functionality of your application can be accessed through REST. So like ptracked, you can create a new bug, get a list of all open bugs, etc. So your Apex application can now provide REST functionality, through a REST API, and you can make this logic available to everybody outside too. Last point, enhanced self-service cloud with documented RESTful APIs. My note says you can provision a new workspace for a new employee, terminate it, create new user, log, unlock it. So the whole administration stuff around the management of an Apex instance should be done by RESTful APIs, which is actually working on the Oracle Cloud right now. I'm not sure if this is true. Don't believe me. But this is the point, so that you just have a program that do this all together through REST APIs, and it's much easier for managing this whole thing. So this are the idea of Mike Hitch, actually the founder of Apex 17 years ago, I guess. It's already 17 years ago. And yeah, we were looking forward to it, what we will see in future Apex versions. Yeah, we will not have an Apex on Air show in June because there is Kscope and we are very busy preparing for Kscope. We planning to have another one after Kscope somewhere in July. Thanks, guys.